we're fortunate enough to welcome a guest speaker who really doesn't need an introduction. And today is one such occasion. I'm delighted to introduce you today to Tony Smurfit, CEO of Smurfit Kappa Group. Smurfit Kappa Group, I had to do a little bit of research on this. A FTSE 100 company, clearly. 48,000 employees. That's a lot of people. Operating from over 350 production sites across 36 countries in Europe and the Americas. And a group turnover, this is a mind-boggling figure, £12.8 billion last year. So Smurfit Kappa truly are one of the world's leading providers of paper-based packaging solutions. So can we please give a warm and rousing welcome to Mr. Tony Smurfit.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Matt, thank you for that. I should know that you had a very easy first job because you worked in a paper mill. We who worked in sheet plants in the first jobs, where I was in Lexington, Kentucky at 110-degree heat, tying up bundles, you had it easy. Also, tomorrow, I'm afraid I'm going to be taxed out of existence because tomorrow I go to Brazil, and then on to Argentina, then on to Panama, then on to Colombia, then on to San Jose and Costa Rica, then El Salvador, then Dominican Republic, and back to Madrid. So I'm in trouble. It's really a great pleasure for me to be with you all, and especially because I consider England my spiritual home. I was born in Wigan, and also I see a lot of friends here. I see my great friend Francois Ellier, who actually was one of my first trainers in business. And eventually he left our company and started up a sheet plant, and we eventually bought his sheet plant, and it's great to see him here, and it's great to see Mike, who runs our sheet feeding business, and Eddie, who we bought his business to. I think it was called CRP with Peter Sangster, and it was in the sheet feeding business also. So, and Eddie has risen to the top of our company here in the UK and British Isles, running our Irish operation, which is our mother country, so to speak. But obviously the UK is very important to us. I think all of us here can certainly agree that this is a very difficult and changing world at the moment with a lot of volatility. We have just exited COVID, as you all know, but as I heard from today that there's still a lot of COVID around, and we're experiencing a really bad war in Europe, with an unprecedented energy crisis and the inflation that you all know exists. I think you're all experiencing an even more difficult time here in the UK because of the absolute act of national self-harm you did and the craziness of Brexit. Needless to say, you'll understand what side of the debate I was on. In this environment, I am struck by the quote from Darwin about the need to adapt. He didn't introduce the concept of survival of the fittest, as is commonly thought, or the survival of the strongest, but he introduced the concept of the concept of adaptation. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. And that's a theme that I've been returning to on and off for the last years or so in our company, as I believe that it is to be relevant to this presentation as in any other and anything that we've been facing. The need to adapt in order to survive has never been so strong, not only related to the big socio-economic points I've just said, but to the themes such as the one of this conference, which is, of course, sustainability. This is a topic that is not going to go away, as you just heard from Matt, nor should it, because as we in the paper industry would want it to stay, because this is a big advantage to us. First and foremost, I have no doubt that corrugated business that we're all involved in is a great business, and our product has the great advantage of being renewable, recyclable, and biodegradable. Not only is it a great business, but it is an evolving one, and I'll go into this in a bit more detail in a minute. But if you agree that the fundamental reason for our business is protection, then what this means has changed over time. Originally, we were purely protecting the product for our customer. We then found that there was more that could be achieved by looking at our product differently and adapting a portion of our business to protecting the customer's brand. And in more recent times, we have adapted further, ultimately towards protecting the reputations of our customers. And this we have achieved both by the nature of our product, but just as importantly, about how we all go about our business day by day. And adapting through these changes has been a critical part for us as an industry, not only surviving, but thriving and growing. The evolution of the business has led to the emergence of different species of corrugated producer, including the group of people here today, you, the sheet plant industry. I am here today because I understand the critical role of the sheet plant business in the sheet plant in the businesses that we all share together. Indeed, if I may digress for a moment, Smurfit Kappa started out in the 30s as a sheet plant, when my grandfather switched from being a tailor by trade to being a box maker with a single plant in Ireland. Circumstances have led us to be a small but bigger than that now. But a large part of our DNA of Smurfit Kappa includes the entrepreneurship that began back in the 30s. And this is no doubt what all of you in this room have in abundance, entrepreneurship. Sheet plants have some natural advantages over mainline corrugated plants on multinational businesses like ours. The key one relate to speed of service and flexibility, speed of service and flexibility, and speed of service and flexibility. There is an element of trust that may be absent if a customer feels like a small cog in a larger integrated wheel. And so there are clients who we can never service, but can use a converted version of our product. And if your converted version of our product is made with Smurfit Kappa sheets, then all the better. For all these reasons, the role of the sheet plant is a vital one in our industry. The challenge for businesses such as yours is how to fit in with the demands of the sustainable world, given the important role that you play in the industry, but also the potential costs involved. This is a challenge that needs to be tackled, and I believe it can be done through partnership. But first, back to the different uses for boxes. My father, Michael Smurfit, talked about his time in running the company, when the emphasis of corrugated was on protection. The predominant color was brown, and the sales conversation was generally about price. The customer relationship was transactional, with an importance placed on service, with an importance placed on service and the construction of the box and type of paper that were used. They were high on the agenda, but they were somewhat secondary. So the corrugated company had to sell on price and manage on cost. And this element, of course, remains a large part of the business and is unlikely to go away. This is something we just have to accept in our business. There will always be an element of cyclicality to the business, never more evidenced by what we're experiencing at the moment and last year. That said, we have seen an adaptation in our business with the emergence of shelf-ready packaging and point-of-sale displays. It has emerged that our product could be used as a marketing tool. When a consumer buys a product in a supermarket, the decision could be swayed by a display or by seeing the box on the shelf at a real fraction of the marketing budget of a brand. The trend for white and light papers has also been gaining traction. And the second part of the product's evolution was developed over the last decades. Now we can talk about things other than price with people other than the purchasing managers. This has added new dimension to pricing, allowing for some ways to differentiate and the retention of our margins. And it is actually a way to completely and radically change our business completely. Brown box out, marketing company in. The latest adaptation of our business is the sustainability agenda. ESG has become the buzzword for business, standing for environmental, social, and governance. Each aspect has had a part to play in how our businesses are run. Environmentally, there's immense scrutiny on the plastic in particular, which again is a huge, huge opportunity for our business. But we have to be aware there's also scrutiny on packaging in general. Matt just mentioned that. Our customers have set ESG targets and expect us to contribute to them. In other words, packaging is expected to help to protect our customers' reputation as well as the product. Fundamentally, of course, we start at the right place. As I mentioned, the product is inherently environmentally friendly, made from renewable resources, recyclable, and biodegradable at the end of life. We are capable of tracing origins of raw materials and of having the packaging chain of custody certified. So at least we passed the first environmental hurdle. Our product, is the right one at the right time. But we've also to consider the social and governance aspects of the business. This is especially true in Smurfit Kappa's case as a publicly quoted company. But we also need to be aware of our impact on our customers' view of us and whether they want to be seen to be doing business with us. All of this comes with a significant financial cost to put in place processes to meet our customers' ESG needs. However, I do see this as a major competitive advantage to recover margin as the demands of our customers' world need responsible, professional, and certified suppliers to meet their own goals. But our product is just the start of the ESG journey. There's also the environmental impact on production. This is more of an issue in the energy-intensive paper manufacturing side of the business, but it is a challenge for all industries using energy, and that includes everyone in this room. And to make things more complicated, some of our customers have set 2040 targets as the date for carbon neutrality, and we want to be a part of their chain, an ever greater challenge. Add to this, the very definition of environmental sustainability is a changing thing, and life gets even more complicated. I have to say, this is where something the Brexiteers did get right. The EU constantly change their definitions regularly as to what do they consider green and what needs to be reused or recycled, and we need to keep pace with that particular issue. So yes, the one constant issue is change. The solution to these problems, of course, is innovation. Every one of us in this room is good at that, for products, for processes, for customer service, for reliability. But are we good on the ESG side? As an example, Smurfit Kappa has two sets of targets for carbon emissions: a 55% reduction in intensity by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2050, where a lot of companies are going, and according to Matt, is where we all absolutely need to get to. The 2030 target reduces the amount of carbon we emit per ton of paper, but carbon neutrality, to align with the Paris Agreement, means that we either have to have 100% carbon-free energy or have the equivalent of any carbon emissions offset by carbon capture. We have to achieve this is not just through our production process, but backward through our chain, including transportation. Unfortunately, a lot of the technology doesn't even exist yet. We can help, all of us. We can trial, we can adopt changes early, and we need to use our collective entrepreneurial flair to see that we get there. A small example is that we've just trialed hydrogen successfully in our Sayat mill in France, and this is showing great promise for energy usage in the future. As a final word on sustainability, we do need a reminder that it isn't just about environmental compliance, but about reputation. For instance, my vision in Smurfit Kappa is that I want to be a globally admired company by all elements of society. I believe this is only possible if we have sustainable reputation with all of our stakeholders, customers, shareholders, employees, the communities in which we operate, our suppliers, and of course, ultimately, our planet. We have to manage the different demands of these stakeholders, and indeed, we absolutely want to do so. For our business, the need to respond to outside pressures has been growing and growing. The industry dynamics are far more complex now than they have ever been. Sometimes the search by authorities for a simple solution, such as the recent reuse debate, causes major issues for our industry. The sustainability agenda is unwieldy, but it is here and it is here to stay. For me, the big outcome is that the entire chain is now essentially bound together. Our environmental impact starts at the trees and ends with the consumer of our customers' products. As discussed, the advantages of our industry far outweigh these difficulties that we face. The two ways of having the greatest impact are either to operate an integrated model directly, having resource, mill, corrugated and converting capacity, or operating the model indirectly, working together through the chain. And this is where I think you come in. Partnership is the new adaptability of our ecosystem, if you will. As I said at the start, you are a vital part of this chain, and your industry needs you. Sheep plants are our ambassadors, our point men, if you will, in the promotion of our product. If you convince the customer base of today of our product's advantages, they will be the bigger customers of tomorrow who will understand our product's benefits, thus assuring yours and our industry's future. So, ladies and gentlemen, corrugated, as I said, and as you all know, is a necessary product. It is an amazing sustainable product made from renewable resources, capable of being recycled and ultimately doing no damage at the end of its life. And I know, I speak for you, that we're all proud to work in this particular industry. Corrugated has proven itself to be progressive and innovative, moving from simply protecting products all the way to playing its part in protecting the reputation of our end customers. Corrugated businesses have shown themselves capable of change, of adaptation, and now not only will survive, but will thrive. Finishing off, if I was to address you in 20 years, which I definitely won't because I'll be too old, I think you'll see the massive progress in your business if you push the sustainability agenda, continue to push the adaptability of our product through innovation and design, and probably most importantly, partner with great, sustainable and reliable integrated suppliers who have your back. I'm quite sure with a little fortune in the next Smurfit Kappa could well be in this room. After all, if an Irish Englishman was able to do it back in the 30s, I expect many of you could also do so. We're in a great business. Let's keep driving home our natural advantages. In Smurfit Kappa, our purpose is to create, to protect, and to care, and I dare say that that could apply to everyone in this room. Thank you all for your attention.